This is what you need to know how the narcissist watched, waited, and planned. Welcome back, wonderful souls. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that may shake the very foundation of your past relationships. How the narcissist meticulously watched, waited, and schemed. It's a chilling realization that the person you trusted had an ulterior motive from the moment they laid eyes on you. Think about it. The narcissist observed your every move, patiently biding their time, all the while crafting their deceptive plans. It's a sobering truth that may leave you reeling with disbelief. But back then, you had no inkling of the darkness lurking behind their facade. You believed in the goodness of humanity, the potential for growth and partnership. Little did you know, the narcissist saw you as nothing more than a pawn in their twisted game. So, if you're ready to uncover the unsettling truth about narcissistic manipulation, buckle up and join us on this eye-opening journey. And if you find this content resonating with you, don't forget to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing with others who may benefit from this insight. Let's shine a light on the shadows together. The narcissist didn't just stumble upon you, they assessed you. They wanted to know your deepest desires, your family dynamics, and your past relationships, especially the broken ones. If you shared about people who hurt you or those who supported you, they stored that information away. They listened intently as you talked, letting you reveal more than you intended. They fed you exactly what you wanted to hear while silently plotting their next move. They aimed to become a significant part of your life, maybe even to make you fall for them, or to isolate you from your support system. When they met you, you were likely vulnerable, seeking to move on from a previous relationship without fully healing. You probably didn't realize the extent of narcissism's prevalence, making you an easy target for their manipulation. The narcissist was watching you closely from the moment you entered the relationship. Day in and day out, they were ramping up the abuse, making you bend to their will at all hours. You were gaslit, given the silent treatment, subjected to their rage, and manipulated in countless ways. But back then, you couldn't quite put your finger on what was happening. It wasn't until you stumbled upon the concept of narcissism that things started to make sense. That relationship nearly broke you, but here you are, part of this community, learning, growing, and sharing your experiences. Now you know better. You've realized that you come first, second, and third. But at the beginning, you weren't scrutinizing the narcissist like they were scrutinizing you. You assumed they were like you, stable and caring. But they were wolves in sheep's clothing, aiming to make you completely dependent on them. They wanted you to lose yourself in the relationship, to become their unpaid servant, their constant apologizer, their punching bag, essentially. And while you were doing all that, you were still juggling your own life, your health, finances, kids, friendships, work, everything. But they wanted you to believe that they were the most important person in your life, and unfortunately, you fell for it. In the early stages of these relationships, especially during the love bombing phase, they crank up the fake empathy, love, care, and kindness to lure you in. But here's the thing. Narcissists can't truly love anyone, not even themselves. They're shallow, hollow, and ultimately, they're bullies and cowards. Deep down they know it, though they'd never admit it. But while they're putting on this act, they're also watching you closely. First, they're waiting to see if you catch on to their game. Then, they're seeing how long they can keep the relationship going. They're also on the lookout for new sources of attention, not always romantic ones. They're testing how much bad behavior you'll put up with, how long you'll ignore the warning signs, and how much you'll keep believing their facade. They're especially keeping an eye on whether you're still buying into their act. Sometimes, when you try to set boundaries or have a mature conversation about their behavior, they might realize you're catching on. So they might throw in a bit more fake kindness or empathy, or they might deflect by gaslighting you or throwing a curveball your way. No matter what they did, they could sense that you were getting closer to uncovering their true nature. Throughout the relationship, you probably had moments where you almost pieced it all together, realizing you might be dealing with a narcissist in your marriage or family. But somehow, it never fully clicked, at least not until it did. Another thing they were doing was waiting to see if you'd ever see through their facade. They have this uncanny ability to sense when you're catching on, even before you fully understand what's going on. So they watched and waited, monitoring the ups and downs of your relationship. They saw you putting them on a pedestal while neglecting your own well-being. They observed as you suffered financial, mental, emotional, and sometimes even physical abuse. They saw you losing touch with your family and friends as they drove wedges between you. They watched as you became more and more isolated, perhaps even moving away repeatedly to escape the turmoil. And through it all they waited, knowing that eventually it would all come crashing down. That's why narcissists often hop from place to place, never settling down for too long in one spot. They crave fresh starts, new connections, and different environments. They can't stay put because they're always chasing after something new. When you think you've finally settled into a home with them, they'll start talking about moving to a bigger or better place. It's not just about keeping up appearances or competing with others. It's also because they've worn out their welcome in the current location and want a clean slate somewhere else. So far, we've talked about how the narcissist watches, waits, and now they're planning. This is where things can get really sinister. They're scheming for the end of the relationship, also known as a discard phase. They may not have a set date in mind, but they're looking for opportune moments to inflict maximum damage. They target key times in your life, like holidays, birthdays, or when you're going through tough times. They know exactly what they're doing, despite any claims otherwise. They plan every move carefully, from finding new sources of supply to figuring out how to keep you trapped in the relationship, especially if you're trying to leave. They drag out divorce proceedings and refuse to cooperate, knowing it prolongs your suffering. They play the waiting game, knowing it adds to your pain and discomfort. But it's all part of the narcissist's game plan because, let's face it, they're incapable of love. They never loved you, not really. So when it comes to divorcing a narcissist, they're out for blood, yours and anyone else's they can drag into the fray, your kids, your grandparents, your friends, your colleagues, anyone. Enter the smear campaign. This is where the narcissist spreads all sorts of lies and fabrications about you to anyone who will listen. Your faults, your supposed failures, your every worry blown out of proportion. Sure, everyone faces challenges, but your close friends and family know you're not the villain the narcissist makes you out to be. Problem is, you're left defenseless because you're not even aware you're being smeared. So what happens? People buy into the drama, the manipulation, the outright lies. They become the flying monkeys, the enablers, unwittingly feeding into the narcissist's twisted game. And guess what? They could be the next target, if they're not already. Nobody is safe from the cycle of narcissistic abuse. Not the narcissist's own kids, not their colleagues, not their neighbors, not even the people in their hobby groups or communities. It's a toxic cycle that knows no bounds. That's why setting boundaries is crucial. You've got to go no contact, block them, delete them, and cut off anyone who's still in their orbit. If you can't do it right now, that's okay. Try grey rock. Be as boring as a rock and slip off their radar. Think about the time and energy the narcissist poured into watching you, waiting for the right moment, and planning your downfall. They invested so much in disrupting your life, and sadly, they succeeded for a while. But then they didn't. After a narcissistic relationship, once you've healed and taken a good look back, you realize how lucky you are to be out. You start rebuilding everything. The friendships, family connections, hobbies, careers. And you know what? You're happier and healthier than ever. Why? Because you've learned who the narcissist is, and you're not going back. You're vigilant about protecting yourself, your time, your energy, and your well-being. You're becoming the person you're meant to be. So here's the thing. The narcissist used to be in control, watching, waiting, and planning. But now, it's your turn. You're watching your life transform from chaos to amazing. You're becoming more aware, stronger, and wiser each day. You're waiting to see what's next. And you're planning for success, prosperity, health, and happiness. You're also planning to give back, to help, educate, and empower others. You're determined to be the best version of yourself. You've realized it was never about you. It was about them taking from you. But now, you're turning the tables. You're going to give back in incredible ways, and I can't wait to see it happen. I'm proud of you, and I know you're capable of great things. Keep up the fantastic work, stay confident, and keep moving forward. I'll be here to support you every step of the way. Don't ever forget that, okay? Take care and talk to you soon. Bye for now.